addition to the case with Mr. Williams, Mr. Barry Williams. He's saying that you had previously represented him and you were able to clear his name in reference to some allegations of money laundering. What are you able to say in terms of that, given that the circumstances know that he's threatening legal action in reference to some ads that reference his name?
I don't know. When you say Barry Williams, you're talking about two, because I'm aware of about 2 or 3 Barry Williams. There's one that's dead and the one that's alive.
The one that's alive.
I remember Barry Williams, aka Boris Sokolov, I think, aka Boris Besmirtny. Yes, I do remember Boris Besmirtny. In 2012, I was introduced to him by Ambassador Haitham Diab, who had called me and said that some monies were being frozen by the FIU and that Mr. Besmirtny needed an attorney to apply to the Supreme Court to unfreeze the funds. So I took the retainer. I applied to the Supreme Court to have the matter unfrozen, had the funds unfrozen by Chief Justice Benjamin, and that's what I did, and the monies were unfrozen, and I haven't really had any interaction with him since then. But yes, he was a client of mine.
What was it the case that his name was cleared from those allegations of money
Well,
laundering?
I don't know if the case was clear. What I do know, what I can say that is public record that you can get from claim number action number 96 of 2012, was about 11 years ago, is that they had, under the law, the FIU, under the Money Laundering, Anti-Money Laundering Act, can freeze your funds. And then the court gives them a certain time within which they have to bring charges to substantiate the freezing of the funds. And usually what the court does is it gives you a time, and if that time passes and you don't bring any case or you don't levy any charge, well then the court simply says, well, the time has lapsed. You have not applied to extend the amount of time you want the money frozen, then you know, the funds have to be released. It was as simple as that. I don't know if I cleared anything. All I did was apply to the court to say, well, the time has elapsed. The FIU has not brought any charges against this person, so you must unfreeze the money. That was the extent of my involvement with the case.
Okay. Are you able to say what was the basis of the monies being frozen?
I have no idea. I represented Mr. Besmirtny. I did not represent FIU. They would have to be the ones to tell you why they did it. I don't know.
Okay, yes, sir. With respect to my senior counsel here, I'm just coming in as junior counsel now to fill in.
Holding the mic and everything?
Yes. So, sir, explain to me, you know, this gentleman was introduced to you by Haitham Diab. Now, I believe the allegation made by his attorney is that there are 2 Barry Williams, both of whom applied for nationality, both of whom are mentioned in the Immigration and Nationality Act, and that in fact we are mixing up the 2 Barrys, right? And but the picture shown along with the company documents from East Wind Trading, the picture shown is of Barry Williams. Who do you know that Barry Williams to be?
Well, I would have to see it. I would have to see the picture, but I know I saw some one of the regular exposés that's been coming out during the news, and there was a picture of a Barry Williams, and that is the Barry Williams. That's the Barry Williams I know as Boris Besmirtny. Yes.
Okay, so he is. Those are from the company documents accompanying East Wind Trading, which made a transaction, a legitimate land transaction, to sell properties to the portfolio.
Well, all I can safely say is this. If I were to see that person again, I'd be able to recognize him and say, yes, that's the person I represented. Yes. And I've seen him recently in a picture on the TV that's in the public domain. So he was my client and I represented him, as I said before, and that was it.
What is your sentiment at this point, given the fact that you were one of the first to see that the Portico agreement is so fraught with so many irregularities the original one,
Yeah.
because they are working on something else.
Yes.
That now your name is now being dragged into this to say, well,
To say
he
what?
has no ground to be
Well,
speaking because
well,
he
this is-
also wrap up with all the barriers or one of the barriers.
Well, this is what I don't understand. What does this have to do with anything? This was it's either about Morales Perfect Law Firm or it's about some Boris Barry and one is alive. What does that have to do with anything? But I know what the attempt is about. This is to try and create some sort of distraction from the real issue. And the real issue is that John Briceño, because he has said it in the past, that anything that happens in the Ministry of Finance, they're not risk with him. John Briceño tabled a cabinet paper for the world to see, or the world has now seen, where he was pushing to validate an illegal document, in my view. That's the issue. The issue as to some law firm to the side or some person who I represented 11 years ago, that I fail to see any connection with what the current issue is. But I guess they have to try.
Okay, so now, regarding this individual, much is being made to say that I have received from his attorney and from political sympathizers.
Of Barry Williams?
Of Barry Williams?
He has political
He has
sympathy.
political
He's a politician.
Which one of them?
Politician. He's what we call politician adjacent.
Okay, okay.
So, he received in 2018 endorsement and commendation from your ministerial colleague, now defamed ministerial colleague, Erwin Contreras.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Well, I don't know. You would have to ask Erwin about that. I wasn't aware of that. And I didn't know that he did that or under what circumstances he did. I don't know. I was in cabinet at the time, but we all had our different responsibilities. I don't remember that ever coming to cabinet for any approval or any vote or anything like that. So if that was done by Erwin, I don't know what he did, but if that was done by him, well, then you would have to ask him what happened with that and what led him to do that. I don't know.
He said, I consider him a special emissary and trade representative for promoting Belize. He's an investor with extensive interpretation in international business. He's fully supported by my ministry, etc.
But supported for what?
He's a special emissary and trade representative. I'm saying that, and it's we can take it at the face value. Do you associate yourself with the minister's position, then minister's position, that the man is an emissary for trade and investment?
I don't know about that. All I know, my only interaction with Mr. Besmirtney was, as I said, I was introduced to him by Haitham Diab to do a case for him. Normal, run-of-the-mill, attorney-client relationship, and that is the extent of my knowledge of this individual. I don't know him at all beyond just my representation of him in a case.
Now the money laundering case fell away. However, his name is written in history because of the audit report as someone who had a flag on his nationality. More than one, but one of the flags on his nationality document was that he was, FIU had sent a letter noting that he was being looked at for money laundering. Do you believe the FIU's complaint was frivolous and baseless?
Well, I don't know if it was frivolous or baseless because I don't know if they even filed one. Remember what I said, they froze some funds belonging to him in Belize Bank, and they had a time within which they were to bring a case, and they never brought the case. So I don't know if they have a case or if they don't have a case, if it's frivolous or not. All I know is that at the time I represented him, no case came against him.
But you didn't make any assessment in terms of, from your knowledge of the facts of the case, because the argument is being made, man, he just made a transfer money from an account, a foreign account, to his local account.
Well, I would think that if the FIU had a legitimate case back then, they would have brought it. They didn't bring it. And I wasn't there to fight a money laundering case. I was just there to say, look, Kenneth Benjamin, who was the Chief Justice at the time, made an order and said that this order will lapse on a certain date. And unless you come to extend the time for that order, or unless you bring a case against this individual, then you have to unfreeze his funds. So my application was simple. Time has lapsed, you haven't brought any case for me to look at, so unfreeze this person's funds. And that's what the court ordered, and that's what was done. Other than that, I know nothing of the case or the individual or the situation. I just don't know.
And then if we could ask you, you were Minister of National Security for 10 months?
Yes, if that much.
10 months.